Hello everyone, hi guys, and hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we are here with a Basilisk Knights Slayer guide for old school RuneScape in my endless adventure to make as many Slayer and boss guides as possible. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content like it, also leave a sub. Would appreciate it greatly. But with that said, let's get into the guide. So to start, should you kill Basilisk Knights as a Slayer task? In my opinion, it's a maybe. I think at low to mid levels, it's pretty fun, and at the highest of high levels, it isn't really even worth doing. It's a fun jaw hunt. The jaw currently lies between 15 to 20 mil. I lied, it's actually 14 right now. Price crashes, man. So it's nice in that regard. However, if you're not getting a jaw drop at all, or you're just going extremely dry, you won't be having a great time. And it's also a slow task, so if you're not getting lucky and the grind's kind of wearing at you, you might not want to come here, and that's okay. For the requirements, you need the quest PvMing Exiles primarily. Beyond that, 60 Slayer is required, and then in terms of your melees or range, 75 of one or the other, 43 prayer to be able to protect yourself from damage, and the V's shield, which is essentially just a mirror shield variant. You could also bring a mirror shield as well, but you'll need that to deflect against the normal Basilisk abilities. Basilisk Knights are weak to crush and range, and their attack style is melee and mage. And their max hit is a 20. They will deal you a decent amount of damage, so be ready. There is also a safe spot too, so there's ways around it. As far as what you can expect drop-wise, the Basilisk Jaw is a 1 in 1,000 drop, or 1 in 5,000 if you are off task. Hard clues are dropped at a 1 in 192 rate, and the average GP per kill should be about 16k. To start, for the melee options, down below we have 3 decent setups. On the left-hand side is your lowest setup, and on the right-hand side is kind of your highest setup. It's not as high as you could possibly get, but I think anyone that has better gear than the far right-hand side probably wouldn't even want to come here. But in terms of the gear, basically you're looking for good defensive bonuses for melee. On top of that, good strength bonus and crush-based attack weapons. So the Cudgel is going to be best up until the point of the Hasta, and beyond that, just some good defensive armor like I was talking about. One thing to note on the left-hand side in the Barrow's armor, the Verax plate skirt is actually the best version of a Barrow's leg because it allows for prayer bonus, so bring that here in particular. Other than that though, everything should be listed and pretty self-explanatory. And if you're not going to opt for melee, personally I come here with range. I think it's a lot more calm, less banking. For these options here, just your best crossbow, your best D-hide. On top of that, a black mask eye or a slayer mask eye. You want that imbued so that you can get the damage boosting properties of it. And beyond that, just boosting your range bonuses and your prayer as much as possible. Here, opting for the mirror shield instead of the V shield for better range bonuses. And overall, one of these setups should be able to do you well. You could mix in some high tier knives if you wanted to, but personally, I just don't think it's worth the cost since you're not going to be making a ton here anyways. Assuming you don't get the jaw, of course. You can get the jaw, but basing it on averages, you know. Then next for the inventory, on the left-hand side, we have a ranging inventory, and on the right-hand side, we have a melee inventory. Everything is essentially listed there. I'll get more into the different teleports that you can take to get there now. The first one of note is getting kicked off of Lunar Isle. I think this is going to be the most common, so that's why I put it first. Dream Mentor is ideal because then you can use the bank booth on Lunar Isle and then get kicked off right next to it, so it's a nice little bank and then teleport essentially. PvMing boots, which require the diary completion. Depending on different parts, you can teleport different amounts per day, but the PvMing boots are the second best option. The third is the house teleport option. Here, you can either have your house located here, or you can use a redirection scroll on a house tablet. Then the fourth is the Slayer Ring / Fairy Ring location. You can either teleport here with the Slayer Ring if you have 75 crafting or have some in the bank, or you can use the Fairy Ring to get there. And then finally, everyone can get here through the Camelot teleport with either 45 magic or by purchasing a teleport tablet from the Grand Exchange. Now that you've made your way on up to the northwestern part of Relica, just go ahead and talk to Haskell over here and go to the Island of Stone through him. Once you're there, there'll be a nice little semicircle and you just go right in the middle into the cave and you'll be exactly where you want to be. Then from there, once you're inside the cave, go to the west and south a little bit and then enter the western room over here. From there, you can decide depending on what you're doing. What I would recommend is just throw on your Protect from Magic no matter what you are doing and make your way probably to the western side of the room. Over here, I'll demonstrate the range safe spot that you can use. Essentially, they only attack with mage if you're standing far enough back, and in this little safe spot right here, you never have to worry about any other attack. So as long as you're praying magic and attacking them, you will be perfectly fine. Now, one thing to note is you do want to throw on the auto retaliate option, because the Basilisk Knights have an attack that does sort of just freeze you in your space, and if you don't move during it, it will deal you damage. Now, if you have the auto retaliate on, you'll keep getting attacked, so you'll just automatically attack back, and thus you won't have to worry about that. So as long as you're in the range safe spot with protect magic and auto retaliate on, it's as easy as can be. Just make sure your prayer's high enough and you'll be good to go. There's really nothing to worry about at all. As you can see here, this guy has not taken any damage the whole time I've been talking. Easy as can be. If you're going to be meleeing them instead, then just drink up on your potions and just hop on in front of a Basilisk Knight. Throw on the protect from magic, and then from there just go ahead and tank. That's why we want the high defense bonuses that we can get from these setups, because it's going to allow for us to negate some damage. Now personally, I bring Ceridome Brews whenever I'm also bringing some sort of prayer potion, because super restores act like prayer potions. They give you prayer as well, a little bit more than prayer potions. I think it's 1 prayer point more, so it's very minuscule. But if you're going to be bringing prayer potions anyways, or super restores, you may as well bring brews, because essentially brews are like 3 or 4 food put into 1 potion, and the only downside to drinking these is that your stats will drain. However, with the restores, you'll bring them right back up. Now, one thing I will mention is essentially every time you drink the brews, you're going to have to then repot up. So it shouldn't be something you're doing all too often. It should just be kind of like a nice little restock on your health whenever you might get extremely low. But honestly, there's not a whole lot you have to pay attention to. You could switch your prayer back and forth because they alternate between magic and melee. So if you were really feeling up to it, you could make sure that you're not taking any damage at all. Personally, I mean, you can see it. There's not a ton of a need to do it, and I mean, if you did want to do that, I would just stand back there in range, because if you're that worried about taking damage, like, that is a perfectly fine method where you take no damage at all. Up to you depending on how you want to do it, but overall, I think it's a pretty enjoyable task and, you know, a nice alternative to kind of the same old that we see in Slayer a lot of days. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Basilisk Knights guide. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Let me know anything you'd like to see in the future down below in a comment. And on top of that, if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. And with that said, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and peace.